Welcome to another Sober on a Drunk Planet podcast. And we are still in our ambassador specials. So these are the people that help within the Sober on a Drunk Planet Facebook group, use their own experiences, and we just get to know a bit more about their backstory and how they become sober. So this week's guest, who kindly had me on his show possibly this time last year for Dublin South FM, was it Marlon?
Yes, for the Marlon show on Dublin South 93.9 FM.
I think it was this time last year, roughly, because it was for
Yeah,
your, what was it for your sober birthday? It went
my
out.
first anniversary, yes.
Yeah. So how many years sober are you now?
2.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing, isn't it?
yeah,
Uh,
incredible.
and yeah, so this is really your time to shine. You've been great in the Facebook group, sharing about smart recovery, and just being a positive beam of energy as you always are.
Thank you.
It's infectious, which is brilliant, which is what sobriety is all about. You've got a lot going on. We just
Yeah.
spoke about a couple of the things before before we started, so we'll touch on all those as we go along. But yeah, over to you. Start from the beginning. Where are you from? How are you here? Why did you get sober?
Okay. Well, first of all, thank you so much for the invitation. I am really proud, happy, and I feel honored to be given this opportunity because I am always trying to find ways to further my message of recovery and sobriety. So thank you for the invitation, and I am very happy to be a member of the Sober on a Drunk Planet Facebook group. My name is Marlon Jimenez Compton. The Compton is my married name. I am married to a wonderful Irish man called John Compton, and who I met back in 2004, the year after I arrived from Venezuela as an asylum seeker. The reason I left my homeland, Venezuela, was because I was deprived, depressed, and persecuted against for being a homosexual. So when I arrived in the reason I arrived to the reason I chose Ireland was because I watched a documentary about Mary Robinson and Mary McAleese, two women who were president one after the other, and two women who have been advocating for human rights and in particular gay rights. And when I watched the documentary, I was moved and motivated and encouraged. And I said to myself, that country looks really nice. And so here I am. When I arrived, all I had in my pocket was very little money, but a bundle of joy and dreams and hopes. And so then I applied for asylum. I became an asylum seeker, and my adventure began in this country 20 years ago.
Wow. And in those 20 years, even from the short time that we've known each other over the last year and a bit, you have been busy.
Yes, yeah.
You've been very busy. So just in terms of a bit of a background, what was the alcohol like when you were in Venezuela? Were you drinking then?
No, no. Venezuela is not a drinking country. And one of the reasons I would say is because we cannot afford it, really. So when people do drink, they do it at the weekend. But even like that, doctors in Venezuela consider that they call it weekend alcoholics, because at the weekend you drink for all the days you didn't drink during the week. But I wasn't a drinker myself. I would drink at a wedding, Christmas, maybe New Year's. New Year's a big thing over there, but I didn't really drink, let alone the drugs, because again, we can't afford it.
So this chapter of sobriety starts in Ireland, which is probably no surprise to
Yeah.
anyone.
Having said that, thank you for saying that, because it's important to clarify that in sobriety, in recovery, and in therapy, I have come to the conclusion that if you have a problem that you haven't resolved, or a trauma that you haven't resolved, regardless the country, that trauma is going to come out. If I was living in the on the moon and I had resolved my traumas, I would have been I would have had a drinking problem anyway. So yeah, geographically, the geography doesn't have to do anything with your trauma. So, and I discovered that with therapy. And if you ask me about my trauma, yes, I lost my mother when I was 11. And my therapist believes that I hadn't dealt with that trauma, which was the reason why I was drinking. And I didn't know.
So at what point did the drinking start when you came over in Ireland then? Was it quite soon when you got over there and sort of started understanding the culture?
Yes, yeah, it was because it was very available. So I was having the crack. I was having a great time. And then as a gay man, I felt like a child in a candy shop, like a, you know, because I didn't have this back in Venezuela. So I was, you know, enjoying my gay life freely, openly, and crazily. So yeah. So yes, after here. But the thing with alcohol is that it's no, I mean, you enjoy it until you don't. But to get to that stage, you have to acknowledge. And then yeah, and then COVID came. Now let's jump from the beginning to COVID, where my problem really became a concern. In COVID time, I was drinking more because I was at home, lockdown, working from home, living at home. So I was drinking like a fish. And then I was also doing, can we say cocaine on this?
I mean, I did loads of cocaine, so
Okay.
yeah, please do.
So, and I was also doing cocaine. And then I did a couple of stupid things that were a wake-up call. But also, I remember one time, lunchtime came, and I was yearning for a drink. And I said to myself, this is not nice. Like, it's only lunchtime, and I want a drink already. So, you know, one thing led to another. And then I said, no, I have to address this. But my therapist, who has been pivotal on this journey, he put it in my head. He said to me, Marlon, why don't you make a plan of 3 months? First month, detoxing. Second month, psychological adjustment. And the third month, the honeymoon. And then after that, you decide if you want to have a drink or not after the 3 months. But as I started, I was feeling great. I was feeling greater and greater and greater and greater. And I was going, this is nice. The clarity and the feeling. And I joined the gym. I started running. And then here I am. I never looked back.
So it was that time you needed, and the therapist was your accountability, I guess, for those 3 months. But you made the decision that why would I not want to feel this good all the time?
All the time, yeah. Yeah, somebody pointed, I got addicted to feeling great.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah, naturally, exactly. Yeah, naturally, yeah.
And then within that time frame as well, you've been involved with Smart Recovery. So I think whilst most people are familiar with Alcoholics Anonymous, I was at for a year, and that was really helpful. Smart Recovery is the way that I see it, but I'll let you take over and explain it in better detail than I can. But it's an alternative or an addition to Alcoholics Anonymous. It's different, which works for some people and might not work for others, but it is bigger and better than it's ever been. And I think it's a great alternative for anyone listening. But yeah, I'll pass over to you because I'm fascinated. You always share about it in the Facebook group. And hopefully it's encouraged a few people to start their first SMART meeting.
Yeah. Smart Recovery is a non-governmental organization that has been helping individuals who are trying to gain independence from any kind of addictive behavior. And in Smart, we believe in the power of choice, and we concentrate on the behavior. We don't believe that the way you behave is what defines you as a person or as a human being, and more so if you have been under the influence of a substance. What is different for to other programs is because we don't have the religious element attached to it, like other programs in you mentioned AA. And we also encourage people to explore smart and to explore other programs because as you very eloquently put it, you can combine both programs, or you can choose by exploring both. You can choose the one that you think is more suitable for you. So yes. We don't the reason my therapist suggested smart is because I do not believe in a god as such. That's why I don't have that religious tendency. But if I had, I know he would have suggested AA. So that's why I think that's the reason why he went for smart recovery. It has worked for me, of course. Now I am a walking testimony of how incredible smart is as a program. And I am a facilitator myself for Smart Recovery Ireland because it's another way for me to give something back to such a fantastic program. Yeah.
And so, just for a bit of context, what does the facilitator do? What does that actually involve within the Smart Recovery in-person meeting, isn't it?
Yeah, in person and online. Mine are online. We basically we make sure that the session is, we are talking about the tools that Smart offer, that we concentrate the conversation on recovery and sobriety, or any other challenges you might be facing, like gambling or porn or shop addiction, shop challenges, and so basically I am there to facilitate, to moderate. And I am one of them, even though I am the facilitator. I am one of the participants, and the conversation becomes when you approach it like this, the conversation become friendly, light, and in my meetings in particular, I am really proud and happy and encouraged and motivated because I don't have many people relapsing, which is great, because then we can concentrate the conversation in other areas of our life that are going to, by default, enhance your recovery even more. Because the challenge with dealing with someone who has relapsed is that you have to spend a little more extra time with that person because of the relapse, So I feel, in a way, I feel privileged that my group is quite consistent in their journey. Yeah.
Do you find as well that because it's not all alcohol or alcohol and drugs, but a mix of addictions, that actually it doesn't really matter what the substance is, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same process for everyone.
Yes, exactly. If we are going to take something that is going to alter our state of mind, that's the issue. Or if you are going to engage in an activity that is going to alter our state of mind, that's the issue, regardless what it is. So yeah. And thank you for saying that, because it's a good outline, a good bullet point.
Yeah, I think it's quite interesting because essentially, like when I was in rehab, everyone was there for slightly different things. Like
Yeah.
it's just the majority of people tend to have um, the obvious ones of drink and drugs because there's a chemical addiction to it and there's more side effects potentially.
Yeah.
With gambling, it's you lose all your money. I was a gambling addict as well. But then there's subtle addictions as well, like phone addiction, which I guess everyone's addicted to their phones to some
Yeah,
extent.
yeah.
But the problem is if when it starts becoming a problem, no matter what the action or the substance, then That's where
Yeah.
things like Smart Recovery give you those tools, which
Yeah.
aren't shrouded in a spiritual program like the 12 steps. They're very logical, based on cognitive behavioral therapy, which
Yeah.
I think you'll find in most modern coaching practices that they are really useful. So I'm a big advocate for Smart Recovery, although I've never been to a Smart Recovery meeting, because I
I
just think
invite you.
it's really practical, and you're such a great advocate for them as well, because you sort of engage with people to make them want to know more as well. And then the type of your meetings, I know that you've opened them up to the group before to come online, but they're specifically LGBTQ plus, is that right?
Well, this is the thing that is interesting, and thank you for asking the question. Uh, the idea was for members of the LGBTQ plus community. However, it has become very diverse, and because we are inclusive, everybody's welcome. So it's not really only LGBTQ plus members. I have a mix of, it's quite an eclectic group of people actually, from every walk of life. Yeah. So yeah.
Okay. So if anyone's watching this then and they fancy joining an online meeting to see what it's all about, then if they join the Facebook group and search Marlon, then there'll be some of the links that you've posted before.
Yes, yeah. And also, as a FYI, I am going to have a meeting next year with my coordinator, smart coordinator, about that. If we could cater or redefine the concept of being LGBTQ plus, because I want everybody to join, you know. So yeah.
Yeah.
But we're gonna wait until the new year, because we might create a little campaign to relaunch the group. So
Okay. Brilliant. And then, so Sobriety's given you this new lease of life over the last 2 and a bit years now. What's gone on recently? Because you've changed jobs, but you're still doing the Dublin South FM.
yes, yeah, the Marlon show is still going. What I did was, when I knew I was going to start, I record through the summer. I pre-record the shows to have them in the bank in order for them to be broadcasted when I started working. But now I am going to broadcast live next week my Christmas special, the Marlon Show Christmas special, and then I am going to. There is something in work called Flexi Time, which is that you have an hour lunch, but if you take only half an hour, that extra half an hour go into the bank, and you build that time, and then you can take a day off, which is fantastic. So the universe was there looking out for me to continue doing the Marlon show. Yeah.
But it's also worth highlighting as well the new, well, if you want to talk about the title, but personally I think it's really inspiring what you're doing now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I am a clerical officer for our Angarda Shikona, which is the Irish police, for all those participants or members who are outside Europe, which is the Irish police. The reason I am happy and proud about being a civil servant, proud to say that the Irish government is my employer. I always wanted to work for the Irish government. I feel that it's another way for me to give something back to this country that has been so kind and generous to me from the moment I arrived back in 2003. And combined with that, I am also a member of the Refugee Advisory Board for the United Nations in Ireland. Our, I suppose, goal is to challenge all those legislations that are not helping refugee and asylum seekers in Ireland. And that those two jobs or roles are another way for me to realize on a personal level, for me to realize that coming to this country has been one of the best choices I have ever made in my life. because Ireland is a country well put together, even though we have many challenges and many problems and we complain about the politicians, etc., but we are well put together. And I can speak with authority because I am in these two organizations, the Angarda Chicona and the United Nations. So yeah, I'm inside, so I know what's going on. And with the UN, again, it's another way for me to give something back to all those refugees and asylum seekers out there who are trying to find their way away from home for whatever the reason might be. So yeah, it can be challenging. It's not easy, but you know, the advocacy and the passion, whatever challenge is you know, are waiting for us. So yeah.
Yeah. And presumably it's easier to do these now that you're sober.
Yes, yeah. That's another blessing of sobriety. Having a clear head to deal with all these issues, you know, and to be practical when I have to be practical and not to mix emotion with practicality, which is something really important to have in these roles. And it's not the same if you are a hangover or hanging from the weekend and then going on to work on Monday to deal with these things. So yeah, it's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. And also the concentration when I was preparing for the exams, for the interviews, to have that extra clarity that gives you that extra push to perform better and well, you know.
Brilliant. Well, you've definitely got a lot on, so I don't think you've got time for hangovers anymore anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And how's Dutton getting on, your beautiful little doggy?
He's doing great. He's keeping us very busy. He's a Springador, which is a mix of a Labrador and a Springer Spaniel. So he's very lively.
Yeah, can
And
imagine.
yeah, so yeah, he's good. He's very cute. I got him his Christmas outfit. So he's ready for Christmas as well. So you
Yeah,
will see pictures
nice.
online, yeah.
Brilliant. Um, I think we're going to wrap it up, Marlon. Like it's been such a pleasure to get to know you through your radio show a few years. Well, is it 2 years ago now or a year ago?
Yeah, a year ago, yeah.
Yeah. To see everything you've been doing with Smart Recovery, um, it's been brilliant that you've been able to explain Smart Recovery and that there's that online and that there are in-person meetings as well, aren't there? You can just go on the website Smart Recovery and find the nearest meeting, can't you?
Yeah, you have a smart recovery for Irish people, Ireland, or actually for everybody. Smart recovery data or smartrecovery.org. And then you have information, resources, videos, etc., etc., etc. It's fantastic. We also rely on CBT technique, and is of course is science-based. And I would like to repeat that we believe in the power of choice and we concentrate on the behavior. And also important, very important actually, we do not use labels like addict or alcoholic or shopaholic or anything like that. We don't find them beneficial. However, we understand that every journey is particular and unique and have its own complexities. Therefore, if a participant would like to refer themselves with one of those labels, we accept that because that's the way they have to make their own journey unique. So yeah, so I think that's important to outline. Also, for the Marlon show is on Dublin South 93.9 FM, and it's the only radio show on earth where you're allowed to live, love, laugh, sing and dance, and we can do all those activities together, holding hands until the end of time. And it gets better because when we finish, we will do it all over again.
I was waiting for you to go into radio mode.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Do we have time to say something else?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I want to again encourage everybody in sobriety or no to get a copy of your book Sober on a Drunk Planet. And I have powerful reasons for this recommendation. Is it became a Bible for me when I first got it, and you have no idea how many times I have read The Financial Freedom of Sobriety, because it's something that I experienced myself. And what I find powerful about that particular chapter is the way you break down how much money we spend in a year when we are drinking or using other substances or both. It is absolutely incredible. I have recommended it to everybody. I have recommended people in sobriety, people who are thinking about sobriety, because it's incredible. So yeah, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Thank you so much, Marlon. And I haven't, just for the record, I haven't paid you to say that or cued you to say that.
No, you haven't. No.
And you know what, the strange thing is that the powerful thing was that I had Derek on for the show last week, and Derek saw the book because of something that you posted, because you've got a mutual friend.
Yeah, on Facebook.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And now you're both ambassadors in the group, like doing brilliantly and being a shining light for sobriety. It's mind blowing, but that's how beautiful sobriety is.
And yes, this time last year I went to a wedding. One of John's nephews got married, and I was talking to this person with a good friend of the family, and she said to me, Marlon, her husband, Marlon, my husband, he got that book you were talking about, Sober on a Drunk Planet, because her husband quit alcohol as well. And I went, no way. I said, yeah, he got it. He's raving about it. So yeah, because of Facebook. So, you never know,
Yeah. Well, it's free marketing. I love it. Thank you. It's been great having you on, getting to know your story a bit more, promoting smart recovery, which I think is good for anyone, whether you're skeptical or not. Like the group is pro recovery. We'll support people as long as they do stuff. Like the one thing that we're adamant about is that you make proactive choices in your recovery, whether it's AA, smart recovery, or both.
Exactly.
And they're all there giving different things for different people. So I think it's good that recovery's gone further now than it's ever done, because AA is not the only option.
Exactly.
Smart recovery's been around for a while, but I feel like it's only in the last 5 or 10 years that it's really started to come as a being marketed more, I guess, because social media is around now more. People get to understand it better. It'd be good to see what you're doing in another 2 years' time with all the things that you've got going on now. And yeah, just keep being brilliant. Follow the radio show, because Marlon just has a very infectious energy about him.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I'd hate to know what you were like on cocaine.
Oh my God, you don't want to know.
No, I don't. We'll probably save all those stories and all that for an X-rated episode one day as well.
Yes. Oh, that could be good, actually.
All right, we'll save that for the next series then. We'll just try and keep this nice and sweet for now.
Exactly, yes. Okay.
All right, thanks very much, Marlon.
Thank you so much, Sean, and happy Christmas, by the way.
Yes, and New Year. And we'll have the next episode next week. Thanks for listening.
Excellent, perfect.